Welcome to Pan Am Football with Max Dean. I decided to extend this topic into a 3-part video on the annual NFL coaching and GM carousel. The reason I decided to extend this into 3 parts is so that I could do a video solely on the prospective coaches here in part 2 before dedicating part 3 to which new coaching and GM vacancies are the most enticing. Before we dive in, throw a like my way if you don't mind. It helps this tired dad spend those late nights at the computer, and if you like what you see, you can subscribe for all of our content, including mock drafts, team building strategies, salary cap breakdowns, and player evaluations as well. So who are the hot coaches that everyone is talking about as the 2021 regular season rumbles towards its conclusion? Keep in mind, there is always the possibility that a coach will be hired who is not even on this list, but I'll make videos for the hires as well after the fact. We're going to break it up into a few categories, and we'll kick things off with NFL coaches. First up, we have hot names. For this category, I'll do a little deeper dive for each coach, including their coaching experience, what makes them a hot name, and any victories in a championship-type atmosphere. I am including bowl game wins here, as they represent a championship-type atmosphere. However, I am well aware that not every bowl game is made equally. First up, we have Eric Bieniemy, age 51, Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator. Bieniemy has been a hot name for about 2 seasons, with the growth of Patrick Mahomes and the success of the unique offense that the Chiefs run. Bieniemy was a player for the Chargers, Bengals, and Eagles in the 90s, before almost immediately turning to coaching in 2001 at Colorado, his alma mater. After a few years with UCLA, he went to the Vikings, where he rose to assistant head coach, before returning to serve as offensive coordinator back at Colorado. He came to the Chiefs at the same time as Andy Reid in 2013 as the running backs coach, and made the transition to offensive coordinator just in time for Mahomes' MVP 2018 season. The success speaks for itself, and Bieniemy consistently receives public praise from other coaches and players alike. There is always the question, however, how much of this success comes from the presence of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Bieniemy is highly likely to receive a head coaching opportunity this offseason. Bieniemy played running back in both college and the pros, and has exclusively worked on the offensive side of the ball, notably with running backs. For his championships and bowls, he has won a Super Bowl in 2019 with the Kansas City Chiefs. In college, he won the 2001 Big 12 championship with Colorado, the 2005 Sun Bowl with UCLA, and the Associated Press National Championship and Orange Bowl in 1990 as a player for Colorado. Next up is Robert Saleh, age 41, defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Saleh, like Bieniemy, likely suffered from participating in the Super Bowl last year, as it was heavily rumored that he was desired for a head coach gig, but teams usually like to make their hires by the time the big game is actually played. Robert Saleh entered coaching immediately after finishing college, spending a few years in his home state at both Michigan State and Central Michigan before spending a year at Georgia. After getting his first intern job for the Texans in 2005 and moving up the ranks, he has been exclusively in the NFL and has made stops at the Seahawks and Jaguars before starting his current stint as defensive coordinator for the 49ers since 2017. Saleh's defenses have been excellent, even this year when the team has suffered what has seemed like uncountable injuries on that side of the ball. Saleh is a high-energy coach and is highly spoken of. However, since playing tight end in college, he has coached exclusively on the defensive side of the ball, and linebackers in particular. For championships, he won 1 Super Bowl in 2013 with the Seattle Seahawks, and for college, the SEC championship game in 2005 with Georgia. Now we have Arthur Smith, age 38, Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. Smith first began to get league-wide notice with the development of Ryan Tannehill last year, after he took over the Titans' starting quarterback position. The clear success of the Titans' offense this year has boosted him into the hot names category. Smith's first foray into coaching started at his alma mater, North Carolina, in 2006, where he spent 1 year before the next 2 working with the Washington football team. After 1 year at Ole Miss, Smith has been with the Titans since 2011 and eventually rose to offensive coordinator in 2019. Smith's offense is seen as dynamic and highly efficient, and is largely credited with Ryan Tannehill's turn from hit-or-miss Dolphins tenure to what is nearly elite status. Smith's leadership is praised, and despite coming from a family of billionaires, it is widely reported that Smith made sure he earned his position every step of the way. Smith played offensive line in college before spending the first 7 years of his coaching career as a defensive assistant and quality control coach. In 2012, he turned to offense and rose through the ranks with a focus on tight ends. Smith has not been a part of a coaching staff for any bowl championships or Super Bowls. That takes us to Matt Eberflus. Age 50, Indianapolis Colts defensive coordinator. Eberflus has led the Colts defense since 2018, and while being well respected in league circles, he has not garnered national media attention until recently. Eberflus started his coaching career at Toledo, his alma mater, in 1992, and remained there in various positions through 2000. In 2001, he earned the defensive coordinator job at Missouri, where he stayed until joining the Browns staff in 2009. After 2 years, he moved to the Cowboys, where he continued to coach until being offered the defensive coordinator position with the Colts in 2018. Eberflus played linebacker at Toledo as a walk-on, and has had outstanding linebacker units at nearly every coaching stop he has made. His sole official experience as an offensive coach was from 2016 to 2017, when he held dual titles for the Cowboys, linebackers coach and passing game coordinator, which is an unusual combination. Eberflus is currently leading a dominant defense in an era of dominating offenses, and many would say this is the true modern defense at its best. The team is full of ultra-fast defenders who play not only with blazing speed but also tremendous physicality. Creating turnovers is a signature of the Colts defense. For championship-type atmosphere, he won the 1995 Las Vegas Bowl with Toledo, the 2005 Independence Bowl with Missouri, the Cotton Bowl Classic in 2007 also with Missouri, and the Alamo Bowl in 2008, again with Missouri. That takes us to Brian Daboll, age 45, offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Daboll is a name projected to the national level as a result of one major accomplishment. He has overseen the development of quarterback Josh Allen from an ultra-raw, inaccurate, mistake-prone rookie to one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the National Football League over the course of only 3 years. Daboll began his coaching career at William & Mary in 1997, after playing at the University of Rochester. Daboll spent 2 years at Michigan State immediately thereafter as a graduate assistant before joining Belichick's very first staff with the Patriots as a defensive assistant in 2000. Daboll became quarterbacks coach for the Jets in 2007 and then held the offensive coordinator position for the Browns, Dolphins, and Chiefs in the span of 4 years. Daboll returned to the Patriots to rebound in 2013 before spending a year in Alabama, and then took over the Bills' offensive coordinator job in 2018. Daboll has had ups and downs throughout his career, notably as an offensive coordinator for a few different NFL teams in his 30s. He was a hot name as a young coach, and had to rebuild his reputation a bit before solidifying it as somewhat of a quarterback guru in the past 4 years. He has spent time in roles as quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, and tight ends coach, and most recently was quarterback coach / co-offensive coordinator for Alabama the year that Tua Tagovailoa took over for Jalen Hurts and won the national championship, and of course has guided Josh Allen's development for the Bills from day one. For championships and bowl games, he has won 5 Super Bowls, all with the New England Patriots, 2001, 2003, 2004, 2014, and 2016, as well as 2 in college, one being the 2017 College Football Playoff National Championship with Alabama, and the 1999 Florida Citrus Bowl with Michigan State. As we turn back to defense, we have Don Wink Martindale, age 57, defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Martindale has been at the head of a generally dominant Ravens defense over the past 3 years, and is another of many in the long line of Ravens defensive coaches to be considered for a head coaching position. Like others on this list, he began his coaching career at his alma mater, which in this case was Defiance College. Then, in the 10-year span from 1994 to 2003, Martindale coached at Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Western Illinois, and Western Kentucky, beginning as an assistant and ending as defensive coordinator. Next came 5 years with the Raiders and 1 with the Broncos as the linebackers coach before getting his first NFL defensive coordinator job with the Broncos, which lasted 1 year. 2012 began his Ravens tenure, which similarly began as a linebacker coach, and became defensive coordinator in 2018. Martindale's expertise has been with the linebackers throughout his career, and to my knowledge, he has never held an offensively titled coaching position. He is the oldest coach on this list to have never gotten a head coaching job before, although he has been considered in the past, even as far back as the late 2000s. Martindale brings a ton of experience to the table and continues to scheme competitively despite cutting his teeth 35 years ago. If that doesn't indicate an ability to learn and adapt, I don't know what does. As far as championships, he has 1 Super Bowl in 2012 with the Baltimore Ravens, and 2 in the NCAA. The 1997 Humanitarian Bowl with Cincinnati, and the Division I AA National Championship in 2002 with Western Kentucky. That takes us to Joe Brady, age 31, offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. Brady also started his coaching career at William & Mary. However, unlike Brian Daboll, it was in fact his alma mater, and it was nearly 20 years later. After a 2-year stint as a linebacker coach, he spent another 2 years as a graduate assistant at Penn State. Brady moved quickly, and after his third 2-year stint, this time as an offensive assistant for the Saints, he jumped himself into the LSU program and went one and done in 2019, winning the national championship in the role of passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach. Still moving at hyper speed, Brady joined Matt Rule's brand new Panthers staff as offensive coordinator in 2020. In a remarkable career trajectory, Brady went from William & Mary position coach to NFL offensive coordinator in only 7 years. Along with the incredible pace of improved job titles, there comes an inescapable lack of overall experience. No matter how innovative Brady is schematically, if he gets a head coaching job, he will have to learn a lot of leadership on the fly. Despite the impressive resume, including Joe Burrow's meteoric rise to one of the greatest college quarterback seasons ever, and all of the hype around his name, NFL teams will be wary of the coach's age and experience. Being younger than many of your players is not a disqualifier, but it makes you realize the sheer lack of experience that would come with this hire. There are also many questions about what kind of coaching staff he could assemble. As far as championships, the College Football Playoff National Championship in 2019 with LSU, and the Big Ten Championship in 2016 with Penn State. For the final coach in our hot names category, we have Nick Sirianni, age 39, offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Sirianni is another coach on the younger side, and began coaching at Mount Union in 2004, immediately upon his graduation from that same university. After 2 years there, he made another 2-year stopover at IUP, at which point he transitioned to offense where he has remained. 2009 kickstarted his NFL career with the Chiefs, which lasted 4 years and 4 position changes. His move to the Chargers in 2013 lasted 5 years and had similar position variance. In this 9-year span, he primarily worked as offensive quality control coach, wide receivers coach, or quarterbacks coach. When Frank Reich became the Colts head coach in 2018, he brought in Sirianni as their offensive coordinator after their days together with the Chargers, and Sirianni has been in that role ever since, representing his longest tenure in any one position as an NFL coach. Sirianni's offensive prowess has gained notoriety in no small part as a result of Philip Rivers' significant improvement in play in 2020. While Rivers has had plenty of good seasons in the past, the stark contrast of his 2019 and 2020 campaigns is causing many to wonder what is so different. Along with that is the fact that the Colts' offense seems to spread the ball around significantly, not overly relying on any one playmaker. Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Pascal, Michael Pittman Jr., and T.Y. Hilton have all contributed relatively consistently this year, and shows an ability of the Colts' offense to take advantage of opponent schemes and utilize whichever players are healthy. Successful play calling within Rivers' current physical limitations is also impressive. Sirianni has coached exclusively offense outside of his 2 years as defensive backs coach at Mount Union. As far as championships, he has won NCAA Division III National Championship in 2005 with Mount Union. That takes us to the Give Me Another Shot category. All of these coaches have had NFL head coaching jobs in the past at some point, and have done enough to potentially be considered for head coaching jobs going forward. We're going to move through these guys a little bit faster. Dennis Allen, age 48, was the Oakland Raiders head coach from 2012 to 2014, and most recently has been the New Orleans Saints defensive coordinator from 2015 to 2020. Josh McDaniels, age 44, was the Denver Broncos head coach from 2009 to 2010, and has most recently been the New England Patriots offensive coordinator from 2012 through 2020. Todd Bowles, age 57, was the New York Jets head coach from 2015 to 2018, and most recently has been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive coordinator for the 2019 and 2020 seasons. Steve Spagnuolo, age 61, was the head coach for the St. Louis Rams from 2009 through 2011, also spent part of 2017 as the New York Giants interim head coach. Currently, he is the Kansas City Chiefs defensive coordinator from 2019 through 2020. Jack Del Rio, age 57, was the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach from 2003 through 2011, as well as the Oakland Raiders head coach from 2015 through 2017. Most recently, he has been the Washington football team defensive coordinator in the year 2020. We have Leslie Frazier, age 61, was the Minnesota Vikings head coach from 2011 through 2013, and most recently has been the Buffalo Bills defensive coordinator from 2017 through 2020. We also have Jim Harbaugh, age 56, was the San Francisco 49ers head coach from 2011 through 2014, as well as the Michigan head coach, most recently, from 2015 through 2020. Finally, we have Raheem Morris, age 44. He was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach from 2009 through 2011. Most recently, he's been the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator in the year 2020, as well as spending the majority of the year as their interim head coach. For some honorable mentions, we have Greg Roman, age 48, Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer, age 47, Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, age 40, Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator, Brandon Staley, age 38, Los Angeles Rams defensive coordinator, Dave Taub, age 58, Kansas City Chiefs special teams coordinator, Pete Carmichael, age 49, the New Orleans Saints offensive coordinator, and Byron Leftwich, age 40, Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive coordinator. This brings us to college, and because there are usually less college coaches in line for NFL head coaching jobs, we're going to do a little bit less in terms of overall coaches. We're going to do a few hot names, as well as a few honorable mentions. First up is Matt Campbell, age 41, the head coach of Iowa State. Campbell finds himself on this list for leading an impressive turnaround at Iowa State, which had been generally uncompetitive even in their own conference. Campbell started coaching at Bowling Green in 2003, immediately after playing at Mount Union. Interestingly, he played on the same Mount Union team as Nick Sirianni, who we covered earlier. After 2 years, he returned to Mount Union and coached there for 2 years as well, before getting the offensive line coaching job back at Bowling Green. 2 years later, Campbell moved on to Toledo, and in his third season took over as interim head coach. He showed enough to earn the full-time job, which he held for 4 seasons and collected an impressive 35-15 record. This success earned him the head coaching position with Iowa State in the Big 12, and over the past 5 years, Campbell has turned Iowa State into a legitimate power in the Big 12. Campbell is looked at as a program builder, the type of coach who can come in and change the identity of a team. Many consider this more valuable than an X's and O's whiz, and despite no NFL experience, there is benefit in having proved this type of leadership in the college world. Reportedly, Campbell turned down a request for an interview with the Jets for the head coaching job after the 2018 season. All of Campbell's championship situations have been in the NCAA, no surprise. First off, the Motor City Bowl in 2003 with Bowling Green, then the GMAC Bowl in 2004 also with Bowling Green. He then won back-to-back Division III national championships with Mount Union in 2005 and 2006. As a head coach, he won the Military Bowl in 2011 with Toledo, the GoDaddy Bowl in 2014 with Toledo, before the Liberty Bowl in 2017 with Iowa State, and the Fiesta Bowl this year in 2020 with Iowa State. Another hot college coaching name at this moment is Pat Fitzgerald, aged 46, head coach of Northwestern. Fitzgerald is an interesting case among our candidates. After playing at a very high level for Northwestern as an All-American linebacker, Fitzgerald went on to serve as a graduate assistant for 2 years at Maryland and Colorado respectively. He only had to spend 1 more year away as a full-time coach at Idaho before being able to return to his alma mater, where he has remained for the last 20 years. It took 5 years on the coaching staff to earn the head coaching position, which means he has been the Northwestern Wildcats head coach for 15 years. Fitzgerald is another proven program builder, but a major question is why would he want to leave his situation? He is already an all-time legend twice over at Northwestern, both as a player and coach, and has spent 24 out of the last 28 years of his life in Evanston, Illinois, which is less than an hour from his hometown and a quick commute to Chicago. People will say he wants to prove it at the next level, and obviously I don't know the man personally, but I have a hard time figuring out why he'd make the move, especially considering he already has a 7-figure salary. While he could certainly boost that at an NFL level, I question whether that would be a major part of the decision. If he does in fact wish to make the jump, he is an intriguing prospect. He has a 106-81 record as a head coach, but the stability of a program built to compete with powerhouse schools like Michigan, Ohio State, and Wisconsin is what stands out for Fitzgerald. For championship-type situations, he won the 1999 Insight.com Bowl with Colorado, and as the head coach of Northwestern, he has won the 2012 Gator Bowl, the 2016 Pinstripe Bowl, the 2017 Music City Bowl, the 2018 Holiday Bowl, and the 2020 Citrus Bowl. Lincoln Riley, age 37, is the head coach of Oklahoma. Riley played quarterback at Texas Tech in the early 2000s behind starter Cliff Kingsbury. While Kingsbury went on to play in the NFL, Riley started coaching immediately at their alma mater, where he spent 7 years moving up. Riley then headed to East Carolina for 5 years and continued to climb, before heading to Oklahoma in 2015 for the offensive coordinator position. After only 2 years, he became head coach for Oklahoma in 2017 and has amassed a 45-8 record since then. Riley has pumped out NFL quarterbacks like no other school lately, with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray both being selected first overall, and Jalen Hurts now starting as well after being taken in the second round. While it speaks to the pedigree of recruiting, it also speaks to the program's ability to develop the position. With the same type of system that is currently run by the Cardinals, Riley is an interesting candidate who I imagine will be very high in demand if he decides to move to the NFL. He also can claim 3 straight college football playoff berths in his first 3 years as head coach and 4 straight Big 12 championship wins. As a player, he was with the Texas Tech team that won the Tangerine Bowl in 2002, and as a coach, the Houston Bowl in 2003 with Texas Tech, the Holiday Bowl in 2004 with Texas Tech, the Insight Bowl in 2006 with Texas Tech, and the Gator Bowl in 2007 with Texas Tech. Alamo Bowl in 2009 with, you guessed it, Texas Tech. He's also won the Beef O'Brady's Bowl in 2013 with East Carolina, and the Sugar Bowl in 2016 with Oklahoma. As the head coach of Oklahoma, he's won the Big 12 championship 4 straight years, as well as the Cotton Bowl in 2020. Finally, we have Urban Meyer, age 56, retired. This one is a long shot, I think, but there are reports he is interested to hit the NFL. Meyer has been such a staple in the football world that I don't think I need to get ultra detailed here, but I will cover him briefly for newer or younger fans. Meyer rapidly turned around Bowling Green in 2 years from 2001 through 2002. He then rapidly turned around Utah from 2003 through 2004. He then went to Florida and proceeded to turn that program around from 2005 through 2010, winning 2 national championships. After a few seasons away from coaching, he headed to Ohio State, where he stayed from 2012 through 2018 and won another national championship. The success speaks for itself, with a bit of a dark cloud over his Florida years. Many have said he created a toxic culture there before leaving, and there is some evidence to support this. It is possible that some of this followed him to Ohio State as well. Meyer has been out of coaching for 2 years now, which he has said is due to health reasons, which may be true, or it may be a break akin to the 2 years after Florida. Regardless, his name holds a lot of weight, so it will be something to watch. His bowl and championships are numerous, and so I'll just sit back and let them scroll across the screen. As you take a look at that, I'll prime you for a few more college honorable mentions, as well as shout out one more time to throw a like my way. It's just a click. And if you enjoyed the video, you can subscribe for lots more off-season content from Pan Am football. So, we have Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator from Georgia, age 54. Luke Fickell, Cincinnati head coach, age 47. Brian Kelly, head coach of Notre Dame, age 59. Brent Venables, the defensive coordinator from Clemson, age 50. And Dan Mullen, the head coach of Florida, age 48. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon for a rundown of all of the Black Monday coach and GM vacancies.